if it's still worth pursuing without first correcting or resolving the issue, yung slope protection issue. Ayan, panoorin na lang muna natin. Ito yung project niya. The whole project, circumferential. Yung 3D representation. Para makita lang na we're talking of the same project here. So, nagdala kami ng drone, pinalipad, ayun yung na-discover nila. Makita nyo mamaya how dangerous and how unviable yung proyekto na ito. In the meantime, I'm not saying that we will not pursue anymore, but in the meantime, let's take a look muna and review. Ayan, we focus on the 50% zoom na nandun sa upper right hand. %75% of the entire circumferential road under construction may landslide. Ayan, look. Nagtanong kami sa engineers, and most of you here are civil engineers. Ang tawag nila dyan is mass wasting. No? Parang another term for landslide. Nawala na yung lupa sa ilalim, hindi naman tulay yung nasa ibabaw. So what will happen if vehicles pass through that area? May mamamatay. And this is new, ha? Ano to? They went back there starting October 15. They stayed there for 1 week. And they themselves risked their lives because nandiyan sila sa kalsada rin while taking videos and photos. Of course, they just flew drone, but merong iba dyan na nandiyan mismo sila sa area. Ito yung parang overview. See? Will we allow vehicles to pass through this portion of the road being constructed? Now, we will show you yung actual landslide na nangyari. Kikilabutan kayo. Ito, walang kinalaman to, but this is also in the Benguet area, no? Yan, courtesy of Kersey Masilian na nilabas to sa Inquirer.net. Tingnan nyo, nangyari. Ayan ang posible mangyari do sa Bliss Project. Look. And there's a person taking video. Oh, tumakbo na nga siya. Just to show you, mabutit meron tao doon na nakita natin yung relative sizes ng mga boulders and rocks sa tao. Look. Very recent ito, November 4. Pero hindi ito sa Bliss. I'd like to emphasize. Hindi ito sa Bliss, but nandun din sa Cordillera area. I remember when I was still handling the Yolanda, meron kaming in-house na geologist. Ang sabi niya, yung Cordillera region, talagang prone to, parang 80% dito may landslide. Now, question, why did DPWH not take into consideration yung MGB findings, yung Mines and Geosciences Bureau? Or did you even consult MGB to conduct a study for possible hazards? I don't think so because ang sabi nga nung regional director, when I inspected, it was solid rock. When we constructed, it was not solid rock anymore. I don't know where she was coming from, pero yun ang statement niya, nasa transcript yan. Now, question, Secretary Mark, are we still pursuing this project? Are we not taking or take a pause for a while and look at the possible consequences if we still continue this project?
Yes, thank you, Senator. And I think I'd like to thank you for that presentation. And to answer your question, sir, yes, definitely. Yes. In fact, recent events, we're all aware, recent events, even the DPWH, we ourselves were victimized by a landslide in Natonin area. And I'm very concerned about this, and I share your concern about this. When I went to the site, I could not even reach the site because there were about 26 landslides before I could even reach there. Um, uh, of course, there are projects that we understand that there are people who live in these areas, these mountainous areas, and of course we want to provide them that service. But I think that at this point, because of the various reasons that include the various climatic changes that have created the rains in the Car region are unprecedented. And they've caused massive landslide, and that's why at this point I even released an order to revisit all these hazard areas in the hazard map, so that definitely we do not want to spend money in areas that obviously might be prone to landslide, and I think we have to adjust now, given the climatic changes in our world. And at the same time, rest assured, Mr. Senator, that we share your concern in these projects, and definitely we experience it firsthand. In fact, we know that some of these areas are very challenging, and yes, and we even just recently, after that event, we also reiterated our requirement that they base our construction on these hazard maps. So that's something that, rest assured, looking to the future, Senator, we'll be even more vigilant about these. And you're correct. These areas they can pose, if not, we have to do it very carefully so that it doesn't pose danger to the people, the users.
I'm glad to hear that you will be reviewing all the other projects, not just the BLIST project. Kasi this could be a representative sample of similarly situated projects. So it's bad enough that we lose money to corruption, but it's worse if we lose more to lack of planning, lack of preparation, simply put, incompetence. And we should take into consideration, pag naggawa tayo ng plano, lahat i-consider na, pati yung in fact, nasa general provision Paki-plus mo nga yung general provision sa GAA na dapat meron talagang certification or consultation with FGB, di ba? Otherwise, nanguhula tayo kung saan magkakaroon ng landslide. Yung pondo, kikitain naman ng gobyerno sa revenues, pero yung human lives, hindi na mababalik yun
Yes, Senator, you're correct.
Thank you,
and rest assured, because of we will I sympathize with what you're saying, and rest assured we will work even harder to make sure that these roads that we're building in the Car will be much safer, and even for ourselves, because we're victimized by this. So I share with you that sentiment, sir.
Yung sa Sariaya, pakisubmit lang yung maayos-ayos na report. Ano ba talagang plano nyong gawin doon sa mga
Yes, Senator, we have the latest update. If
please.
we be allowed to
Sige.
update. Thank you, sir.
But with the indulgence of Senator Lacson, going back lang doon sa Cordillera, kasi nadadaan din ako yung going to Sagada, ang daming mga sinkhole doon. Medyo delikado yung mga nawala na yung lupa. Meron nandun pa yung semento. No? I just have done, recently I passed in Sagada. Pero, medyo nakakatakot kasi nandun pa yung konkreto, pero wala na yung lupa, may mga sinkholes.
Tama.
Sagada area.
We will look at that.
Yeah, sir, for Sariaya area, we have already secured actually the permit to enter. However, we have problem to payment of the road right of way because of this following issue. One is in terms of ownership, the joint ownership that we cannot ascertain the certainty who is the claimant. Second is the property is just a tax declaration that we have to, according to our guidelines, it should be at least 30 years of continuous ownership before we can pay for the lots. Third, some lots are free patent that we're not allowed to pay. So right now the project is just we have resumed in it already the reconstruction. All the roads are already open. There are only 3 bridge projects remaining that are ongoing, because this bridge project before was suspended due to the access of the equipments to the project site. So we are about to complete already this project.
Siguro naman, Yusek, yung mga future, nilabas lang namin to for future reference. More importantly, for future reference. So ngayong there are lessons learned, baka pwedeng i-take into account na ninyo yung mga observation na hindi pala pwedeng mag-settle kung may mga problema sa ownership. Di ba dapat na-determine na ito before? Of course, this happened not during your time. 2014 ito eh. Di ba dapat sa susunod siguro, i-consider na natin lahat yung mga problema na encounter para smooth na lang yung paggawa ng kalsada. Hindi na rin nasususpend or mapakinabangan na ng mga taga roon. Di ba?
Kami po sa field, we considered it yung road right of way settled once the owner give us the permit to enter. However, along the process, yung payment, the final settlement of the payment of the road right of way, doon kami magkakaproblema because of the documentation.
So in other words, kulang yung due diligence. Part of the planning yun eh.
Yeah, but
Excuse me.
Kasi kung iba yung situation noon, tapos
Yeah.
nag-iba yung situation, and some of the prevailing conditions, hindi naman ito nag-change overnight eh.
Yes.
Di ba?
Senator,
Yes,
if I
Secretary.
can comment. My observation when we would come to these right-of-way issues, even ourselves, it requires a certain level of logistical capability and also training, which I felt that something we need to improve on. For instance, I know this many times these issues, and in fact, I released a deal that specifically compels them to expropriate at a sooner possible time. There's been some instances where, yes, there are issues like that where the ownership is in question. Di mo rin maiwasan, may lalabas, may ibang claimant. But the reality is we're trying to be more aggressive with the expropriation. The only constraint with expropriation is the legal, of course, it requires a legal process that sometimes before we used to have only two lawyers per region. So it was a constraint before to the acquisition. Even though it's possible, we have the means to acquire right-of-way. We have the legal framework to acquire right-of-way. We have the budget to acquire the right-of-way. Now I think it's a matter of the capability in terms of enhancing our own capability. And that's something, Senator, we're looking for. I just want to reassure you that we've already increased our legal department in each region by 7. We conduct regular monthly trainings because the reality is we do have the legal framework to these issues, whether they're claimants, ilalagay mo lang sa korte. You file for expro, you give them the deposit on the zonal value, and then they'll decide. Mabilis lang yan. So I'm minsan kulang lang sa training. Sometimes with the Solicitor General, we have to add on some lawyers. But there is a processor, and in the past, admittedly, there were some. It wasn't moving as fast as we could, but now we are instituting changes that would speed up these right-of-way acquisitions with these properties, and definitely. I share with you the same concerns. We don't want these kinds of projects where, because of a simple right-of-way issue, it's delayed. And I thank you for bringing that to our attention again. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. If I may add, siguro mas magandang meron ding networking without sacrificing due process, no? Pero kailangan makipag-network na rin sa mga korte para mas mabilis yung
Tama po. And actually, that's actually correct. You're very correct there, sir. And actually, it requires a certain level of diligence, and even kailangan may yeah, especially with big thing. And we experienced the same thing with Harbor Link, which we opened recently. It was really a confluence of a lot of groups, coordination between even the legal entities involved, even our lawyers. So that's what we're finding, Senator, that with these issues, these are very solvable issues. We just, in the past, I think we lacked the necessary logistical capability, which I think we're enhancing now. And when it comes to these right-of-way issues, I understand your concerns, sir, and I share the same concerns. we will, the steps have been taken. And in fact, we're conducting regular training to make sure that the task forces that we've assigned, which is what our role now is. We want task forces per major big ticket project. We're finding that it's an effective way to expedite these big ticket projects. So, yun po. Thank you, the Sariaya. This is a past legacy, but definitely nakatutok po kami dito, and we are aware of the problem, sir. And I don't want this to come up every year, Senator. Parang every year na lang pinag-usapan natin to. And definitely, sir.
Alam mo, Sec, nakapagod din eh.
Opo.
Nakapagod.
Totoo po.
Pareho tayong pagod eh. Kayo pagod ng career research din. Kami
Yes,
napapagod din ng... Hindi naman kami naghahanap ng fault, ano? And wala akong personal interest dito. If you want to have that assurance, ito puro institutional eh.
Yeah.
Because sabi ko, nakakapagod na rin, nakakapfrustrate yung makita natin na maraming sasayang eh.
Tama po.
Dami.
And that's why we had to make some changes, some very material changes, like the additional of a legal. There was no legal department. There was no legal department. There was a legal officer, but there's no legal department. When you talk about expropriation, it's very. I think it's. What I'm finding, it's very integral to expropriation that we have lawyers also, because it's very, the documentation is very critical when it comes to making the checks, when it comes to releasing from finance, from negotiation to the legal process. It's a very complicated process, and it's very legally challenging. So with the legal department, I feel, Senator, that we're better equipped this year to perform better than we did in the past. Hopefully next year, sir, wala na pong...
Hopefully next year, ibang issue naman.
Ibang issue naman po.
Hindi na natin babalik.
Pero okay lang. Basta every year, ayusin po namin yung
Yeah.
issue. Bagong issue naman next year.
Thank you very much.
Sige po.
My other, moving on, ano, di ba merong 55 billion pesos na nirealign sa House? Okay, some 30 billion plus na-retain naman ng DPWH, yung iba nalipat eh. But we noticed na yung 30, I think 31 or 30.5, puro lamsam yung nilagay ng mga congressmen. I wonder if you were consulted. Kasi yung isa doon, for example, road repairs, construction repairs ng roads leading to tourism sites. Anong klaseng description yun? Hindi natin alam kung saan. So, hindi ko rin alam kung meron silang items na after ma-realign. But we got hold of a copy of the realignments made. And my initial question in my mind, na-consult ba yung DPWS? Because you've been doing all this planning, and after that, only to be, parang bigla na lang gagalawin ng House without any consultation or without any study or planning for that matter. Hindi ba dapat sa inyo rin manggagaling na, sige, pwede nyo realign, pero konsultuhin nyo naman kami kung saan pwedeng dalhin yan, at kung dadalhin, ready ba yung lugar para ma-implement yung proyekto? Were you consulted?
To begin with, sir, I wouldn't imagine to dictate to. I would never dictate to Congress how to do. I would never dictate to them. If you're asking me about those entries, we weren't. That's not our. I mean, I think you would have to ask Congress, because we weren't really involved in that process.
No,
but we did give a
question to.
recommendation before for projects that we felt were our priorities.
Yes, I know.
We
Meron
submitted.
kayo recommendation, iniba nila eh. Ang tanong ko, kinonsult man lang ba kayo doon sa pagkaiba nila?
Itong latest po, there was they asked us, they mentioned this, that about this 50, about this 55, and we just commented that it wasn't part of our original submission to them. But of course, this is the discretion of the DBM and Congress, but it wasn't part of our original submission.
Part din ng legislative work na
Yes.
mag-amend.
Yes, sir.
Pero maski mag-amend, dapat medyo bumusina sa inyo na viable ba itong project na ipapalitan namin ng ibang project. Pakitingnan nyo nga kung po pwede ito based on your overall planning, based on your studies. Di ba dapat may ganon? Of course, I can also ask them, but I'm asking you if you were consulted. If not, then just say so I can...
I wasn't the 50. I wasn't. I have no list of that.
Hindi pa magkasuntukan nga, di ba?
That was not part of our original our recommendation.
Anyway, that's just about yung sa mga concerns ko hanggang doon lang muna, Mr. Chairman. So, I yield the floor back to you.
Okay, thank you, Senator Lacson. Siguro, in line with yung concern ni Senator Lacson, ngayon, we understand that there are a lot of projects ongoing, no? Nakikita ko na sa Metro Manila and others. Meron bang for example, it was coming from, alam naman natin, ang gagaling sa Congress yung karamihan doon. Pero minsan nangihinahin kasi ako, Senator Lacson para yung mga kalyeng ayos, sinisira, aayusin ulit. Like doon sa amin, may mga school buildings, gigibain, itatayo, ganun din naman. So, paano pong nagiging DPW, meron pa kayong technical team to kung aprobahan? Kasi parang sayang, nangahinaya ako sa that it could have been used, no, for build. Kasi ang ginagawa, same, yung parehong kalye, parehong building, sayang yung nangihinayang ako
I guess, Senator, the different projects, different circumstances. May mga school buildings siguro na pag, of course, that's under DepEd, but meron pong school buildings na siguro pag Metro Manila may 2 stories, gusto nilang gawin 4 stories dahil para mas malaki yung capacity. May mga kalye po sa Metro Manila na may technical, and I've asked about this also, same question, that there are technical reasons that aren't visible to the naked eye sometimes, but of course I'm not saying that there are no naka-monitor din kami sa mga projects. Ako, kung ano yung inis mo sa ganyan, naiinis din ako pag may nakikita po ako na project sa Metro Manila, parang I really question it. Of course, there are technical answers to many of these, but I don't want to give a specific, I don't want to generalize all. I mean, I cannot generalize, Senator, pero kung meron po kayong specific, and I would definitely, kung meron po kayong nakikita na specific na mga kalye na may mga mukhang bago pa lang at nire-rehabilitate na hindi naman sa tingin mo, hindi pa kailangan, I will gladly investigate that immediately.
Thank you, Sec, kasi sayang din yung pondo, that it could have been used for other projects. We understand Build is designed in improving our weakness in infrastructure, for our economic, kaya lang, sayang, ang daming ganon. Meron lang a few questions, galing sa ating concern, dahil si Attorney Doblon is from this area. Dapat nyo siguro ito, kasi alam niya naman, 25th Senator yon. Anyway, question niya, can DPWH give us an update on the expansion of the Maharlika Highway? We want to know the total funding, percentage of completion, length of the road, the width of the road, including the expansion being undertaken. I don't know what area.
Maharlika is very multi-regional, so we'd have time to collate all the regions.
Sorry. Quezon and Bicol area, the stretch of the Maharlika Highway situated in highly populated areas doon sa between Quezon and Bicol.
Kung okay lang po, Senator, we can submit to you update in writing.
Okay. No. Every year. Ay, Andaya Highway nga.
I am aware of the Andaya Highway. I've heard about this, yes.
Then what are the measures? Ito lang and then just take note, probably can submit in writing. What are the measures do you plan to undertake to ensure safety of the public? Will the department consider constructing center islands in some areas along the Maharlika Highway as a safety measure for vehicles for crossing pedestrians? If yes, has this been included in the program work of the particular project? We have seen center islands in Aguinaldo Highway. Can this be done also in Maharlika Highway? Then, next, if there is no budget allocation for the construction of center island along Maharlika Highway, can the LGUs find the construction of center islands within their respective municipality cities, considering that Maharlika Highway is a national road? Okay.
Yes, definitely the national roads are really priority. So we'll really, I think center islands, it's a very, that's a very good program, Senator, and we will include that in our planning in the future.
And likewise, I share the sentiments of Senator Lacson, Parang napansin ko nga rito, year in, year out, we have deliberations on the budget of the different agencies. We have suggestions. Siyempre, we go around We are legislators, but we go around. We know the concerns. Sometimes we talk to we get to talk to the local leaders, governors, mayors, and what have you. Parang nagiging optional whether pakinggan o hindi. Parang ganun ang pakiramdam ng iba dito. Minsan hindi ko alam kung Parang ang tingin dito sa mga sa Senado, parang makonsihal. Pakinggan man o hindi, life goes on. Tama si Senator Lacson. So, there are been concerns also by Senator Joel Villanueva, no, that I will ask him, no, kung he was asking for another because he's indisposed right now, kung if he would want another hearing, but we'll see. Baka pwedeng sable na rin na lang, no, to answer the other concerns. But before we move on, ito pa, the senators on November 21 from LBRMO nito, no, on November 21, 2017, approved the transfer of the Senate from its current location in Pasay City to the former Navy Village at the Fort Bonifacio in Taguig, spearheaded by Senator Lacson to. May we know from DPWH if there are any alternative routes that the department can possibly develop to ease the traffic in the area where the new Senate building will be constructed?
Actually, we have ASEC Molano. Malapit ba yun sa Loton? Sa Loton. But can I, before you start, there's a widening sa Loton po. Actually, the Loton project, one of the purposes for that is sa ngayon po, hindi masyadong maganda yung connectivity sa fort. If you go to the fort, halimbawa, paggaling po kayo sa NAIAX, bababa pa kayo sa Magallanes, napaka-congested po yung papuntang McKinley. So ang purpose namin dito is magkaroon ng down ramp from NAIAX going to Loton. We want to start that next year para sabay po. At pagbaba, so at least, halimbawa, kung galing po kayo sa NAIAX, hindi na kailangan bumaba sa, you can just go straight down, traversing yung Sales interchange sa sa SLEX, which is source of congestion. So that's one project, and I can see Assistant Secretary Molano can update you on the building itself.
With regards to the building itself, tomorrow we will have the pre-bid conference, sir, and the bidding of the Senate for the Senate building will be on January 8. January 8. So we are anticipating to have a minimum of about 4 bidders to attend tomorrow, sir, yung pre-bid conference. To be constructed in 4 years, but hopefully to have the hall available by July of 2021. Yeah. So, yun po, sir. And we are hoping to get good price because we will be doing value engineering doon sa bids ng contractors.
Question, Asek, may quadruple ba sumali?
Actually, meron po mga interesado na nagsabi na po. Quadruple. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dalawa agad na quadruple A contractors yung nagsabi na they will participate. Yes, sir.
Para paglipat ni Sec Mark sa Senate, maayos na.
Ikaw naman, sir, Ikaw naman.
So what are the tsaka siguro rin, yung Sales tsaka yung Loton, no? Napansin ko lang sa gabi, it's very dark. Is it considered already a national road or sa LGU pa rin? Kasi dapat BGC is supposedly dapat na to, going to a financial district, business district. Pero napakadilim ho sa gabi. Very siguro pwede natin ilawan yan. Dapat gateway natin yan Especially coming from the airport, Sales, going to BGC. Di ba? Parang yes, hindi maganda, yes, napakadilim. Sobrang dilim ho niyan sa gabi.
Tama po, sir.
Siguro, Senator, kasi in general, kahit saan sa Pilipinas, wala talaga kaming provision sa budget para sa electric bills. So, hindi talaga namin kayang pailawan. I mean, kami naman, pwede namin yung i-construct. Pero yung maintenance, kailangan talaga gawin ng LGU. We have no, unless
so I'm asking if it's still, if the Fort Bonifacio area, is it turned over already to the LGU, yung kalye? Kaya baka may ganung confusion Kaya ayaw pagawa ng LGU, baka akala nila national pa. Ang dilim, BCDA pa rin siguro. But that's, siguro BCDA can take care of that.
Unless there's a concessionaire in general, even if it's a national road, the LGU, if it traverses their area, should still maintain it. Maintain the ilaw, yung ilaw po. Wala talaga kaming budget for for electrical
yung lang siguro before, di ba, yung road board pwede for the lighting.
I'll be open to that, sir. If Senator, if the Senate.
So there are areas that are very critical kasi baka pwedeng kung hindi pa natin resolve yung problema sa road board, since one of their functions is yung street lighting na pwede. There are areas na I think critical, no? Na especially in the provinces, and like in this case, itong BGC I think very critical because it's a gateway, no? Like I said, coming from Sales, Naiya, dadaan doon papuntang BGC, napakadilim.
Yes, and I hope the Senate can also help us with this. It might, for the road board, I'm not sure if it falls within the mandate. It might require a law that would allow an organization to subsidize electrical lighting in certain areas, electrification, which is, minsan kasi pag may malaking kalye na dadaan sa maliit na municipality, wala talagang budget yung maliit na municipality, but it's still a major road with major use. So siguro, Senator, we can work together to come up with maybe an agency or a policy that might solve that.
Well, thank you. Siguro also, Asek Molano, no, yung we would like to see yung concern kay Senator Lacson, of course, paglipat ng building, what will be yung inyo pong plano for that area to decongest or as it is right now, talagang ano doon problem area, talagang bottleneck. No? So, pakita lang natin yung plano. Especially pagdating ng Senate noon, all the more, madadagdagan pa yung traffic. Anyway,
Sabihin, sir, yung proposal how to decongest yung area going to the Senate office.
We are in constant touch with ASEC Molano naman So,
okay, thank you. Asek, I will just wait for the chair of the Finance Committee.
so I move to recommend to the plenary. At least approve na natin sa committee level. Sa plenary.
Okay, we just have, before we approve this on the committee level, we just have some, Senator Joel Villanueva message me that he has some concerns. Hopefully, it will be resolved before during the, siguro sa mga Bulacan area, I think, projects because he knows the Bulacan area project. Meron din akong concern minsan, no? Kaya lang, nindiyan ako ni Jose Cabral ako, parang konsyel lang kami, ni-Indian. Diba? Pero meron kami concern. It's meron valid yun. Diba? Kasi we go around Okay? So, I hope that you will resolve yung mga concerns. So, meron pa naman tayong plenary. Okay? So, since there are no more matters to discuss, the budget of the Department of Public Works and Highways is approved on this by the committee and will be submitted for plenary discussion.
In the meantime, you enjoy your molo. Sige.